Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Volcano-AC, and in this episode I'm going to start a tutorial on how to record in StudioOne 6 artist version. In today's episode, I will go over the start page and how to set up your device session block size, the sample rate, and the bit depth. Remember that it is essential to have the correct settings before you even start recording to avoid future issues. If you want to see a video on how to install StudioOne, check the link in the description below. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, and we are here in StudioOne artist version, and check out over here at the top right, you will see this upgrade option. Here is in case you would like to upgrade to the Pro version of StudioOne, and I will say that the main difference between the Pro version and the artist version is that in the Pro version you can actually master a song and you can create EPs or albums as well. Whereas in the artist version, this version is mainly to record and to mix. Alright, so let me start here with the start page, which basically is the home page for StudioOne DAW, and I'm gonna go from left to right, top to bottom. And the very first thing we need to notice is the plus sign over here, which basically brings the menu that we can choose. If we want to start a song from scratch, then we will pick this very first one. If we want to start one with a track already on it, or a session with two tracks that are two mono tracks, then we will choose this one over here, and you can do the same for a template for a full band, or if you're producing beats or you want to load a session already with a virtual piano, for example, then you will use this one over here. And there's options for content creators. You can import files as well from here, or if you have PreSonus or Fender audio interfaces and you would like to allocate a particular input for any device, then you can just use this template over here. And also StudioOne 6 has this demo that you can select as well in case you would like to check out an example of mixing a song. And if you're into mixing, definitely I'll recommend you to check this out and play around with it. So now, before we get in depth about the sample rate, etc., let me cancel first, because that's if we want to start a song from scratch, then we do that plus sign. But if we want to open already an existing folder where we already have the files for a song, then we could use this one over here. For example, so I'll have my songs in this folder over there, but you can search in your computer at different places. Also, if you would like to be in the sharing community of StudioOne, this is the space for StudioOne Plus. I don't do collaborations at the moment using StudioOne, so I don't have anything here, but that's the area that you will go in case you will be interested. Alright, and here you can see my recent files. These are songs or recordings that I did for as voiceovers, for example, for YouTube, and you can also choose the song menu over there. And at the center, we have the artist profile. So in this case, I have here this picture, but you can actually delete it just by doing that, or going to the three dots and bringing it again. You can choose whichever picture you want. Just remember it has to be 1400 by 1400. However, my picture is bigger than that, so it will resize it for me to whatever it fits, so that's fine. I do not have a SoundCloud account, so I'm not connected with it either. Here you can change your artist name, for example, like that, or you can just keep it as it was. You can write the genre as well. You can say rock or metal or whatever you want. And then you can have a website over here, and you can change between different artists. So you can add an artist over here if that's what you would like. Then we start getting into some important aspects because here it is telling you which audio interface is being connected right now. So I'll click there and you can see over here, audio device. We go to the drop down menu and it has selected the USB interface that I have, which is the PreSonus Studio 24C. So that is great. In the case you're using something different, then just go ahead and make sure that's the one shown over here. And I think it's about time to start talking about device block size, because this is a very important parameter. This controls the input and output latency on the signal. For example, if we have a smaller block size, for example 16 samples, look at the input latency over here is only 2 milliseconds, and in the output 1.47 milliseconds. So that's actually pretty fast. But if we go to a much higher block size, then look at this, it turns into 28 milliseconds input latency and 23.2 milliseconds output latency. So that will mean that you're recording something, but it takes this amount of time for you to hear it back from your audio interface. So as a rule of thumb for me, I always record at a small block size, because that way the latency is smaller. And if I'm gonna be mixing, for example, then I increase the block size to 512 samples, or even I can go at 1024 samples. I really like to mix at 512 samples. And remember that it gives you less processing power when you have a small block size, and that is an issue when you have large sessions with lots of plugins. So if I have lots of plugins, then I go to a larger block size. All right. All right, so let me go back to the 32 samples over here, and here you can see the sample rate that we are at right now. However, we're going to be tweaking this. There's no option here to tweak it, so I'll just keep it as is, but we're going to get into this in just a second. Let me first keep going down over here. If you want to configure your audio device, you could do that there, or external devices, you can do it there as well. This is important. You can see here, you can check in order to make sure that you have the latest version of your StudioOne artist. And I'm just gonna click, and yes, we have the latest version, so that's great for this tutorial and video. So I'll click OK. However, this is not the only place where you can see it. You can also go here to help, for example, and you can check for updates over here. So that is another way to do it. If you want to learn more about StudioOne, just click there. And in the right side of the screen, what we have is the news feed from PreSonus StudioOne. And you can scroll downwards and see different news that you can check out. Okay, so all right, with that, I think we have covered the basics on the start page. So now let's go ahead and click new. And I like starting my songs from scratch, because I never know exactly how things are gonna go, so I don't want to have any virtual instruments loaded. So let's go ahead and give it a name to this song, and I'm gonna call it StudioOne Tutorial Song. No year, just like that. How about that? Okay, here you can choose where do you want your songs to be stored. And now I will say it's a great time to talk about the sample rate, because you can choose it right here. And basically the sample rate controls the frequency range of the recording. Basically, it controls the number of samples taken per second during the conversion from analog to digital. Therefore, the more the sample rate, the better the recording resolution you will have. In this video, I will use 44.1 kilohertz since it has been the standard rate for consumer audio for a while. And if I try to go at 192 kilohertz, which will be the maximum in this case, then my budget interface could produce jittering. What that means is that it could cause some distortion or clicking or just some degradation of sound. Now, something important to mention is for creating videos, it's very common to utilize the 48 kilohertz sample rate. I'm gonna go to 44.1 and that should be good. Also, if I already have some files that I would like to drop from another folder, so I could do that right here and all the rest will stay the same. And I'm just gonna click OK. All right, and we are here. And before we actually do anything, I wanna save this session so it saves my title, my block size, my sample rate, and I'm gonna go down here and click in browse so that it's hidden, and I need to save it. So you can do by going to file and click save, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna press Ctrl S and you'll see right now Ctrl S, and now it got saved. So that's fantastic. And before we move on with something else, I'm gonna show you the second shortcut. So the first shortcut was to save, Ctrl S. Second shortcut that I'm gonna teach you today is Ctrl comma, which there you go. You have the options here for StudioOne where you can further tweak your block size in case you were not happy with the 32 block size that we set at the beginning. You can change that here, but I'll keep it to 32. Sample rate, you cannot change here, but what we can change now is the bit depth, which is another reason why we are in this video, but we have to go to the song setup over there. And now you can change the sample rate from here, and you can also set your record format for the beats that you want to record. But what is the bit depth? Basically, this controls the dynamic range of the recording, specifically the peak signal to noise headroom. At 16 bits resolution, the audio will have 96 dBs of headroom from peak signal to floor noise. And when we use 24-bit, then it will be 144 dBs. For this video, I'm gonna use the 24-bit, and I'm not even gonna get into the 32-bit float one. All right, so now I'm just gonna go here, click apply, and OK. All right, so we were able to come all the way to setting up our desired block size, our sample rate, and our bit depth. So this video is getting a little bit long, so in our next episode, I'm gonna start explaining about this song page, all right? But before I actually finish the video, let me just press the letter T on my keyboard, and there it is. Here is where we could actually start adding tracks. But like I said, if you want to see how I do it, then I'll see you in the next video. That is all for this episode. Thank you for stopping by. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.